Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
Okay, amazing. How is your Wednesday?
My Wednesday's going very well so far. Nice productive day. It's good. How are you
Great.
doing?
I'm couldn't be better. I'm in LA. We
Oh,
actually have some beautiful weather today. It was like we get a couple of days in the beginning of the winter where it gets really cloudy, which is nice, but yeah. We'll just wait for a couple people to join. It's 9
okay.
or 12 p.m.
Okay.
All right,
Hi,
I guess we'll
Ferris.
get started.
I just saw my friend Ferris just joined.
Oh, hey, Paris.
Yeah, hey, Ferris.
Um, well, for everyone that's just tuning in, thank you guys all so much for being here today. If there's anyone that is new to the Women Who Do, this is a series that was created to really support Anne Klein. And if you haven't met me before, I should start to say, I'm Jessie Rubenstein and I am her granddaughter. So we really, created the Women Who Do series to uphold my grandmother's legacy during, these wild times that we're going through, where kind of these messages of strength and empowerment are more critical than ever before. I feel really fortunate to be here today and supporting everything that she stood for. So, with the Women Who Do, we're highlighting some really amazing conversations with the women who are the heroes of today, like Samira.
Thank you for having me. And what a legacy that you come from. I have to say, what your grandmother created is, just that legacy of great American sportswear. I mean, what a tradition. It's
Yeah,
remarkable.
no pressure.
No.
Yeah, growing up in the fashion industry myself and working in fashion now, she's definitely my idol, for lack of better terms.
I
um,
understand. Yeah.
well, Samira, again, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. I know you're a very busy woman. For anyone that doesn't know Samira and is joining, maybe from the Anne Klein side, she is the editor-in-chief of Harpers Bazaar, a huge job. I can imagine even 20 minutes out of your day is a huge undertaking. So thank you again for being here. So Samira, just to jump right in,
Yeah.
you are a pioneer in the fashion industry, and you're also the first woman of color in this position at Hearst. So can you just tell us a little bit more about like what that has meant to you? I know there's been so much press out there about it.
I think, first, thank you for having me. It's really nice to chat with you. I think, and I've said this before, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but I think the idea of firsts um, is an interesting one because I'm the first to hold this title, but I'm not the first person of color to be qualified to hold this title. I'm just the first person that has been lucky enough to uh, have gotten the job. So while I lead this brand with great pride, and I also do recognize that um, being the first is not. It's a little bit loaded because I'm certainly not the first person of color who is capable of this role. But I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I'm grateful to be able to lead Harper's Bazaar in this next chapter of its long legacy.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you've had an amazing career from, um, you know, working at Vanity Fair and Elle, and you've really like been all around and seen every aspect of the magazine and fashion
Mm-hmm.
industry. What kind of like excites you most about this role?
I think what excites me the most about this role is just more of the same. I really thrive in teamwork. It's really that's my happy place is collaborating and working with people who know more than I do. Um, so in this particular role, it's great because it's I'm still learning. I'm forever going to be a student, so I still get to I'm learning so much. And in this particular role, whereas previously I've really been focused on fashion, in this role I get to be involved in features and digital, and so I have an incredible team who inspire me and who teach me so much. And it's really also exciting to be able to build a team, you know, to be in the position where I get to bring people on board and have a hand in bringing people on board who I think, you know, have a lot to say, and giving them a platform to say it on or across.
That's amazing. And I can, as someone who's building a team myself, I own a social media agency. I know that is like such a rewarding part of it, the job. And like one of those behind the scenes things that just like really makes the magic happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's great to come to work every day. I mean, you know, today I'm in the office, which is strange. Normally I, you know, like everyone, I work from home. And it's been really remarkable. And I said this to my team this morning. I'm just so moved that everyone has welcomed me, has welcomed, you know, the additions to the team, and that everyone is just working so hard to get this, you know, to just keep it moving and to create content and to keep challenging ourselves to tell bigger stories, to be more ambitious. I'm so moved by all the work. It's been really remarkable.
Wow. And what were any, I'm always just curious about this because I feel like in this digital age where we're all like working from different places,
Yeah,
it's so important to have like communication methods. And
yeah.
I mean, I'm like such an in-person kind of girl. Like I love face-to-face interaction. So when all of this happened, I was like deep in a Google rabbit hole of like, what are the best like softwares out there? So are
hmm
there any like communication methods that you think have really like helped align your team?
I mean, it's the same that everyone's using. You know, one thing that we do every day, which is really nice, is we do just a daily meeting where everyone's on it. So we start our days where we get to sort of see one another, and you know, even if it's just faces on the screen, we at least get to like check in.
Yeah.
So you feel less isolated. But I think what this period has taught us is how to be nimble and how to stay connected in other ways. You know, that maybe you don't need the physical uh, closeness to be connected.
Mm-hmm.
And it's forced us to develop other muscles that I think will serve us well in the future when this is all
Definitely.
behind us.
Exactly. Um, and you know, I'm sure that coming into a new role, like any role, there's always a lot of challenges. Like, what have you felt has been like the biggest challenge, but also kind of flipping that on its head a little, like the biggest opportunity?
I'm so sorry. You just cut out for a second.
Oh,
Could you? I'm so sorry.
yeah.
Technology, the joys. I'm so sorry.
Like we were just saying. Um, but no, I was saying, you know, with any new role, there's always a huge set of challenges.
Yes.
But also flipping that on its head, like what challenges has also presented the largest opportunities?
Gosh, I think, you know, that's such a good question. I think this moment in general has been a challenge. But in the stillness, I think, you know, not being able to travel. I'm used to traveling so and to, you know, not move and to be at home with my family and to be able to have 3 meals a day with my son, you know, in the early days of lockdown. Those are really special moments. And also, I think just having to be nimble, having to be creative, having to come up with creative solutions to creating content, you know, during a global pandemic. It has forced all of us to think differently, and I think those are really valuable lessons. And I think, you know, we can be frustrated by the limitations, but I think we can, once you get past that, there's an opportunity for growth. And I think that's certainly one of them. I think just being able to be still,
Mm-hmm.
and to really be forced to find creative solutions to the physical isolation.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like I know, you know, I'm on the brand side, but like putting out content, there's been, especially in the beginning and, you
Mm-hmm.
know, still now, there's a lot of sensitivity around like what is the content that's like relevant to people, and people are now consuming content so differently
Yes.
than they were a few months ago. So kind of like how have you guys, you know, Hearst is like a huge company, made that pivot, and like kind of what trends are you seeing develop in the space?
I mean, I think in general, you know, I'm very fortunate to work at Hearst, and I work with really brilliant editors. I mean, you know, I look at the editors across titles at Hearst, and you know, we have these monthly meetings, and I'm always just so blown away by how creative they are and how ambitious they are, and um, so I'm just learning from them, really. But I think, you know, for us, it's just keep going, keep telling stories, keep working at it, keep thinking bigger. I mean, you know, I started this role in July. Um, so it took a minute to like get to know everyone and, you know, to find my feet. I'm still finding my footing in this role, but I think it's, yeah, it's just the idea of, you know, there's so much, there's so many important stories to tell now more than ever. And I think for us, there's great excitement around that, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Is there one project in specific that you're working on right now you're really excited about that you can share?
Uh, we're working on our March issue right now, which is also going to be a redesign. And so that's been really exciting for me because I've never been able to be so, you know, so intimately connected to a process. You know, I've, I've worked as an editor through redesign, but to be an editor in chief and to be able to be working so closely with the creative director, um, has been really thrilling. And to really think about how we can reimagine this brand at this moment, and carry this legacy, which you know a lot about also, but how to be sort of true to the legacy, but move it forward. It's been a really exciting exercise.
Yeah, and I think that there's always kind of like, I'm sure a lot of our viewers out there look up to you in your career. And I find, and I remember kind of like even going through this um, when I was starting my career, but
Hmm.
even if you're someone that's maybe looking to pivot, there's always that question of like, okay, but what is your actual day look? What does it look like? Like, what do you actually do? So I want to kind of dissect your day. Like, can you take us through your like wake up to the end of your day and like what that kind of looks like?
Sure. So this week for my son is a in-person learning week, which means so he goes to school one week in person and one week he learns virtually. So I'll walk you through today because this week isn't an in-person week. So I get up between 5:30 and 5:45, um, make coffee. I get him up. I have to pack his lunchbox and his snack. Um, my son does not like to be rushed in the morning. He actually reminds me of my brother, and I think my brother is on. Hi, Riyadh. He's very slow, does not like to be rushed in the morning. Um, so we need a lot of time. We need a lot of time, and so we go get through our morning. We are out the door by 7:20. We have a walk to the subway. We count puppies on our
Oh,
road. Yeah, we count puppies. Today we saw 9 puppies. And yeah, school drop off 8:20, 8:30. And then I usually go back home to Brooklyn where we live, and work from home. But today I came into the office because we're closing an issue and I wanted to see it on the wall. And then I, like most people, Zoom all day. I'm
yeah.
just on my computer all day, communicating to my team either through Slack or Zoom or Google Meets or whatever the thing is. Um, and I try and leave by 6:30, and then it's home. Try and spend some time with my son, bath, bed, and then I try and do some more work when he's done, and then I go to sleep. But it's really, yeah, it's, the days that I come in, I really enjoy because it's nice to be in an office, to be reminded that is still here. And also to be able to walk through New York City, to get
Mhm.
on the train and to be reminded, of our great, beautiful city and just the humanity that exists here and the connectedness that could exist outside our door, gives me tremendous hope. So my days that I get to commute, I really, really enjoy.
I can completely, I totally understand that. So I live in LA, but I'm born and raised in New York, in the
Yeah.
city. Um, and whenever I'm back, I love just like walking around and, it's so different with everyone's masks on, but just like seeing people like move about, it just like
Yeah.
brings you happiness to not be so alone.
Yeah. No, it's really wonderful. I love New York City. God, I love the city so much. And it will be back stronger than ever. And I guess whatever city you're in, if you can, support local businesses is all I'm going to say.
Yes, I love that message. Um, okay, if anyone that's watching has any questions, I just want to make sure you guys are dropping them in the question box. We'll get to those in a minute, but I've seen some great ones come in so far.
Okay,
But
good.
I also wanted to ask you, Samira, like there, I feel like the magazine industry, it goes unsaid. It's, especially like the print component,
Hmm.
um, is changing so much with digital
Hmm.
arising in a bigger way. What do you see as kind of like the future of print publication, and how do you see it shaping?
I don't see print going away. I just don't. Print is the maximum expression of what we do. I think my publisher, Carol Smith, said that first, but it really is. It's the maximum expression of what we do. We are a media brand. We, have digital, we have social media. Print is part of what we do, and print is where we get to, it's our storefront. It's where we get to show like the purest expression of what we do, and we communicate now in so many different ways, and so it just makes it more exciting. But if the question is, what do I see as the future of print? I just don't see it going away. I think it is the well that everything springs from. And so for a brand like Harpers Bazaar, I think, we're very committed to print, and we're very committed to continuing to evolve that medium. And it's thrilling, really. And all the other things, are part of the landscape. But I don't see the extinction of print in the future. I don't.
I agree too. As someone that's like, I'm not the biggest online shopper. I love going to see clothes in person and touch
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
And also as someone that like, I just know me, if I buy something online and I don't like it, it's never going to get returned, even though I can tell myself that.
yep,
So I feel the same way about print. I grew up like loving it, loving the way it smells and feels.
yeah.
Um,
The experience of it is really unique. And if you've enjoyed magazines, that tactile experience and the experience of turning and discovery um, is is unique and special, and I don't think it's going away.
I agree. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Okay, let's get to some of our questions.
Great.
Um, okay. Okay. Let's see. There's so many good ones. Okay. IVNAPZ. I'm not sure if that's a name or or an acronym, but they ask, how did you develop your leadership style, and what is your leadership style?
I think I developed my leadership style. Well, thanks for the question. It's a great question. I think I developed my leadership style from having held so many different roles in magazines, and from just being really, I'm a constant student, so I'm always just trying to be quiet and learn from the people who are around me, and to pay attention to see, what I think has worked, and what, during the course of my career hasn't. I think my leadership style is I am trusting. I set the expectation, and I let people execute. I surround myself with people who I really think know more than I do. And so I trust that when they make a decision or a recommendation, or they come with ideas, they're great. And I love dialogue, and I don't hold grudges. You know, if something doesn't work, I'm not scared of failure. I think with failure comes the opportunity for a great lesson and for evolution. So I'm never making decisions out of a fear of failing, because I think you just have to be able to try something and see if it works. And I think when people make mistakes, we acknowledge them and we move on. That's all we can do.
I love that. Well, it sounds like you have a really amazing team.
I do. I'm very fortunate.
Okay.